If you ever had a moment in which you just couldn't speak, you just couldn't say the words, or you couldn't even think, but then a minute later, maybe even a day or a week later, you go, oh, I should have said this, and this would have been a brilliant thing to say at that time, but the time has passed. I know I talk about this a lot on my channel in terms of verbal fluency, but when it comes to thinking on your feet, verbal fluency is just one component of many components that we're gonna go over today. So, by the way, I saved the best for last, so stay until the end. Don't worry, even if you can't see it, I'll put the details in the description as well, and some links to some helpful videos I've already done on this channel, so just directing you in the right places. First is the neurology. Neurology, I'm just talking about the physical sense of your brain. Here are some things you can do to help your neurology. There's a natural way to train your brain, and then there is an intentional way. Somebody who perhaps reads a lot or is constantly learning a lot, all of that really does help your brain. If you're good in your mind and problem solving and thinking, but you just can't speak it out loud, then I would suggest going through my verbal fluency playlist or take one of my verbal fluency workshops down below in the description. When it comes to your neurotropic supplements like your omega-3s, especially the DHEA in omega-3s, if you can do NMNs, that's good as well. But your overall nutrition, all of that goes into the bloodstream, then it goes into your brain. If there's any type of nutrition that is lacking, that is going to affect your brain functioning. If you had any type of trauma, especially head trauma, like you've been in a car accident, that's going to affect your brain functioning as well. So when it comes to brain fog, things like that, you really got to check out what's going on in your body overall. A lot of times I recommend people to go to a neurochiropractor and getting a lot of blood work done, at least the general blood work to check your nutrition and where you're at generally speaking. Any little thing can really help it. Psychology. Okay, psychology is one of my favorite things to talk about. But in terms of thinking on your feet, this is where the whole idea of self-concept, your self-image really comes into play. I would have yourself ask the question, what is the meaning I assign this? And so, for example, if you go to a party and you have social anxiety, I would ask myself the question, what's the meaning I assign to this that's giving me anxiety? It could be things like, oh, people are gonna hate me, I'm not a good speaker, I don't know how to connect. It could be any number of things. But if you went ahead and listed that down, you'll see that there's a lot of negative self-belief systems there. Because in thinking on your feet, if you truly believe that you are not a social person, or I'm such an introvert, or whatever meaning you assign to yourself that is preventing you from socializing with ease and confidence, you're going to act as if that is true, whether it's true or not. If you just think about it for a second, how is it possible that you know language? You know language because you know how to socialize. You know how to socialize because you've learned how to do so. But you know how to do it. So the negative self-belief system of saying, oh, well, I hate socializing because I'm not good at it, let's say, if at the core foundational level, that's what you truly believe, it doesn't make sense. It just doesn't actually make sense. So the more you could break it down in that sense, whether it's through a professional, let's say a therapist, and do some CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, although that's a longer route to get there. Personally, I like to do the hypnosis route. So that's what I do with some of my clients, is do hypnotherapy and just get down to the root of things. Let's just get to it and let's just take it out of what you're truly believing about yourself, because this is, again, self-concept, your self-psychology, and then basically delete it or clear it out. Because as soon as you do that, now you can decide, hey, I know how to socialize, I'm brilliant at it, I'm great. Now it's just a matter of, do I want to socialize right now or do I not want to socialize right now? So if you decide to be quiet and just observant, it's not because you're anxious about it, it's just because you're just choosing to. And that's a different type of energy. There are some other things you can do to help your psychology. Physiology. If you don't already work out, don't already go to the gym or have a personal trainer or any type of physical activity, I highly suggest you do it. Specifically when it comes to thinking on your feet, you're increasing blood flow to your brain. And you're also training your brain as well as the rest of your body that when you are under stress, and in this case it's muscular stress or cardio stress, you're able to push through. So you are putting muscle memory into your body that's saying, dancing, even though I'm under stress or even though stressful things will come to me, I will always push through, I will always finish, and I will always keep going. Oftentimes, because we work in front of our laptops or computers, we are sedentary. And even though you might have a standing desk, I'm proud of you for doing that, but it's not enough. I used to be a dancer throughout high school and onto college, and I always noticed that dancers were overtly confident, not just when it comes to dancing, but they're just confident in general. But then I realized, looking back, because I was classically trained, a lot of it had to do with holding yourself up. And so not just good posture, but from the ground up, and not being afraid to expand yourself, because what do dancers do? They constantly move, they constantly expand. They're really comfortable in your body. And so what fitness does, even if you don't become a dancer, is that you become more kinesthetically comfortable in your body. When you walk into a room and you're not comfortable in your own home, your own body, and you walk into an uncomfortable space because it's unfamiliar to you, it's no wonder you feel anxious. You know what I mean? Because if you feel truly comfortable in your own body, and this is your home, and you're so confident in this body of yours, even if you walk into a place that is unfamiliar, uncomfortable, highly stressful, right? You're speaking to somebody who is above you, or you deem that is on a higher pedestal than you. You're so comfortable in your body. You're like, yes, this is my body, I feel good. Nothing can incept you just because you're just so comfortable in this meat body of yours. Even on a psychological level, Amy Cuddy did a whole study on this, of how our body postures up, how we expand when we are more confident. It's also a quick, cool hack in order to increase your serotonin level. And when you increase your serotonin level, you become more confident. I talked about this into how to trick yourself into being more confident. I don't think that was the title, but I'll put it down below. All the more reason to physically work out. Energetically. When I say energetically, I'm talking about emotional regulation and your nervous system regulation. What happens when you walk into a room you're not comfortable in? There's a mental block that says, I don't belong here. You have this weird imposter syndrome, you feel nervous, you start to sweat a little bit, right? You react. What's the first thing that you notice? The first thing that you notice is that your heart is beating fast. All of a sudden you're sweaty. There's a lot of these physical symptoms and emotional symptoms, nervous system symptoms that happens instantly. So usually when a client comes to me, they'll describe their symptoms that's either emotional or in their nervous system, in their kinesthetic body, right? So my heart starts beating faster, my throat closes up, my palms get sweaty, right? Just all of these things happens instantly. You didn't have to consciously think about, oh, I'm nervous, now I'm going to have all of these symptoms. No, the symptoms happen automatically. So the first thing that I teach people to do is to calm their nervous system and go and regulate your emotions. How do you do that on a practical level? You can do a simple breathing 4-square technique or a box method technique. I'll link that down below, but it's basically inhale 1 2 3 4, hold 1 2 3 4, exhale 1 2 3 4, hold 1 2 3 4. You can do that anytime, any place, anywhere, and nobody will know that you're doing it. So breathing techniques, doesn't have to be that one, it could be any breathing techniques you can do right then and there. If it's something that, let's say, you can step out of, remove yourself from the situation and then do something that is the opposite of the emotion that you don't want to be in. So let's say I'm feeling nervous and anxious. If I want to all of a sudden feel confident and brilliant, maybe I'll put on a Beyonce song and then just start dancing, and then I'll embody that confidence, that brilliance, right? But whatever works for you. For some people it's to work out, for some people it's to take a drive with the top down in their convertible and just go, right? So whatever that is for you. Here are a few things you can do to increase your energetics. Comment below which one you would like to work on this week. Hold each other accountable. I will see your comments, so let me know, and I will see you on the next video. Okay, by the way, quick insert here. We have a new coaching membership program called the Charisma Crew that is coming up in late June of 2022. So if you'd like to join the program, look in the description down below, and I hope to see you on the inside.